Hello everyone, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Joy White. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please, if this is the first time you're checking on my channel, kindly hit on that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. So guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this built up boo top you are seeing on your screen. That is what we are going to be doing today. So I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. Firstly, we'll be cutting the front part of our top. So now the next thing I will do is to go ahead and rule out the top line, or we can call it the shoulder line for our top. So after doing that, we are going to take the length of the top we are working with. So I've gotten the length and I'm going to deduct 2 inches from the length because I'll be attaching another fabric at the hem of the top, the same fabric actually. So now I've gone ahead to rule out to mark out what I will be needing for the length of this top. So the next I'm going to do is to go ahead and get my ruler. I will connect the points that I have there. So I'm going to go ahead and connect it. So now that I'm done with that, the next thing I'm going to do is to come over to the neckline. So I'm going to be using a neckline, a neck width of 3 inches, although I will later increase this to 3.5. So 3 for the neck width and 3 inches for the neck depth. I'll go ahead and connect it using my curve ruler. So I have done that already, and the next thing I'm going to do is to take from the center back to where I want this sleeve to stop. So what I need is 24 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark out what I need from the top to the hem of this top. So I'm just taking it downward this way to get a straight line. So now that I'm done with that, the next thing we are going to do, I will go ahead and mark 1.5 for the shoulder slope. So I'm marking 1.5 for the shoulder slope. After taking that measurement, I will connect it using my ruler to the neck width. So now the next thing we are going to do is to take the sleeve, what I want for the round sleeve for this top. So what I'll be using is 12 inches. That includes the seam allowance for the round sleeve. So I've taken 12 inches and I will connect it inward this way. Can you see what I'm doing? I've connected it inward. So now at this point, the next thing we're going to do is to determine how wide we want this top to be. So I'm going to be using my hip measurement, which is the biggest part of my body circumference. So the hip divided by 4, and I will add an extra 5 inches to whatever I need. So what I'm marking there is 16 inches. So I will take it downward. After marking it, I'm connecting it with my ruler. So now the next thing I'm going to do after connecting it is I won't leave that place to have that sharp curve. So what I will do is to curve out my hand just the way you are seeing me. So after doing that, the next thing I'm going to do is that, remember, this is a built up neckline. It's going to have like a collar in front. So what I will do is from the shoulder point, I will go down with 10 inches, and from that point I am going in with 2.5. So I want it to be 2.5, and when I open it up, it's going to be 5 inches. Now that I'm done with that, the next thing I will do is to use my ruler and connect it upward from the hem of this top. So another thing I'm going to do is that on the neckline, I am going to increase the neckline to 3.5. Remember, initially I used 3 inches for the neck width. So, but I later decided to make it 3.5. So now I'm going to connect it from the 3.5. I'm taking it downward to where I have marked the 2.5 for the collar. So now that we are done with that, I am going to go ahead and cut off that point. We will not be needing that point. That is the collar point. We will not be needing it again. So I will cut it off. So now the next thing I will do is to go ahead and get my scissors and cut out all that we have drafted out. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly cut it off, and I'll show you what this front of our top is looking like. Okay guys, so I have cut out the front, and this is what we have. And I've gone ahead to fold my fabric to cut out the back, and you see I folded my fabric into 2 again, and we are going to be cutting the back of this top. So now what we need to do, the first thing we need to do is to go ahead and take the neck width. So the neck width still remains the same, which is 3.5 for the neck width for the back. But for the neck depth, I will come down with just 1 inch. I'm coming down with 1 inch for the neck depth. So what I will do is I'll use my free hand to connect the neckline for the back. So this is just the only thing we'll be doing for the back. So now after doing that, the next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and cut out what we have here. So I'm cutting is still the same measurement for the front and for the back. So I'll cut it off and show you what next we are to do. Okay guys, so I have cut out the front and the back. Can you see it? And this is what we have for it. So I am going to keep the back aside. We'll be working with the front. Remember where we marked in front for the collar. So I will go ahead and slash it now using my scissors. I'm going to slash it now. Like I said earlier, that we will not be needing this part again. Remember, this is a built-up neckline that has a collar in front. So that's why we are cutting this part off. We do not need it again. So this is what we have after cutting it out. We have our two-piece ready. So now I am going to get the back of my top and I'm going to go ahead and place it. I'll go ahead and place the front at the back. So what I will do now is to join the shoulder. The first thing we'll be doing is to join the shoulder. So I'll take it to my machine and join the shoulder. So I've joined the shoulder and this is what I have for it. I've joined it and I've weaved it also. So now the next thing we are going to do is to get our tape. We're going to measure around the neckline. This is the collar, so we're trying to get what we'll be using for the collar. So I will take my tape and measure around. So I have done that already and I've gotten what I need. So I've gone ahead to also cut out the piece I'll be using for the collar. So the first thing you do is to fold it into two, just the way I am doing it. You fold it into two, and after folding it into two, ensure that it's a collar that will go around the neckline. So what I have there is 6 inches. Remember what we cut out was 2.5 on fold, and I said when you open it up it is 5 inches. So I have gone ahead to cut out 6 inches because we'll be needing 0.5 for stitching allowance. So from the top of my collar I came down with 11.5, and from that 11.5 I am going to get the midpoint between the 6 inches I have cut out. So I will mark it down. So what I will do is to take this to my sewing machine and sew from this point. I will sew down. So I have sewn it down and this is what we have, and I have ironed it out. You turn it and iron it just the way you see me doing on your screen. So now the next thing I'm going to do is that I will notch out the center point, that is the neckline. So I'm going to give it just a tiny notch, and also on our top you're going to go ahead and fold your top into two to get the center back. So after getting the center back, you go ahead and notch it, or you can place a mark there. So now after doing that, the next thing we are going to do is to get our collar and place it. Can you see the way I'm placing it on the neckline of the top? That is the center back. So the next we'll do is to take it to the machine and sew down. So you are going to pin it down at that center back, and you sew from that point to the end and come over to the other side and sew it as well. So I have done that already, and this is what our collar is looking like. So now the next thing we are going to do is to fix our pocket on this top. So what I have here on this pocket is 8 by 9 inches. 8 by 9 inches. The width is 8 and the length is 9 inches. So I'll take it to my machine and sew it down. So after sewing it down, I will go ahead and fold the sleeve of this top. So I am done doing that, and this is what our pocket is looking like, and I have folded the sleeve of the top. So this is what our top is looking like. So now at this point, remember I said I deducted 2 inches from the hem of my top. So this is what we have here. I've gone ahead to fold my fabric into two. What I have there is 2.5 inches on fold. So I'm going to place it at the hem of this top, and then I will sew down using 0.5. So I will do that for the front and the back as well. So now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and sew the side using 1 inch. So I'll be sewing both sides using 1 inch for the seam allowance. So when I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and iron this top and show you what it looks like. Okay guys, so I am done with our top, and this is what it is looking like. Can you see how beautiful our top, our built up neckline bubu top? This is the pocket, and this is what it is looking like. So neat. I love the finishing of this particular top. So you can actually rock it with a short. So what I have there is a short and a bubu top. So this is what we have for it, guys. So please, if you find this tutorial helpful, don't forget to hit on that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video.